everybody, it's Diana Stack with Wild Rose, and today, as promised, I'm going to do my tutorials on how to crochet the very basics. Now, this was requested of me, so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to start adding more tutorials for other stitches that I personally like as we go along here. So, this is the very basics of how to crochet. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with what we need. So what we need for this is yarn, and I would suggest a worsted weight or something similar to that so you can see it, work with it while you're still learning. This is a 100 yen ball of yarn from Kendo, which is like a 100 yen shop or a dollar store out here in Japan. So I'm starting with this. And a pair of scissors. Now, any scissors that you have around the house that'll cut yarn cleanly and nicely will work. I'm just using these. And small scissors like this, you can get, I got these at a craft store, but a private yarn shop back in Connecticut. But you can get these little scissors anywhere on Amazon too. So, you know, don't be afraid to look around for a good deal. You can usually get like 3 or 4 of them in a pack if you buy from Amazon. So, a pair of scissors and a hook. Now, the hook, it could be any hook. As long as the size of the hook is going to work with your yarn. This is a 6. I picked it a little bigger because I want the stitches to be a little bigger so you can see what I'm doing. This is a prim hook. I love these hooks. They are not expensive hooks. If you buy the sets on Amazon US, you can get a set for a really good price. And I love these hooks. These are so comfortable. So we're going to start with this prim hook, but any hook you have that'll fit your yarn is fine. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with a slip knot. So, and I'm going to go ahead, ooh, I have a hair dangling. I don't think we need that in there. So the first thing I'm going to start with is a slip knot. So the slip knot is the first thing you're going to do to start your foundation chain, okay, your starter chain. So slip knots, you've probably been doing them your whole life, but we're going to do it here the way I do it, and hopefully this helps you a lot. So what is a slip knot? No, not that slip knot. This slip knot. So what we're going to do is, this is how I do it. I take my yarn and I wrap it around 2 fingers like this, like, you know, this. I just twist the yarn, grab it with the 2 fingers, and I just pull it through that loop, okay? Again, I hold the yarn across my 2 fingers like that. I twist the yarn, grab it, pull it through. Let me do that slower for you. I twist the yarn around, wrap the yarn around those 2 fingers. Do you see that? And I'm holding it with these 2 fingers, okay? I just simply twist that yarn, bend my fingers, grab that yarn right there, and I pull that through. And that's your slip knot. One more time, so you get that? Wrap it around. I twist the yarn, I grab it, and I pull it through. Once you've done that, put your hook in there and just snug around your hook. Now, you don't want it tight. You want to be able to have that, you want to have it against the hook, but not so tight you can't move this, okay? So, when you're starting your starter chain, there's many ways to hold your yarn. This is how I've always done it, and this is how I'm going to do it here. But as you go along, you're going to find maybe more comfortable ways to hold your yarn, and that is fine. Whatever works for you, whatever is comfortable for you is fine. So I just do it this way. So that's how I do it, just like that. And I find I can get full tension and I can also release and let that slide. So I just put it in and I wrap my finger. Put it between my pinky, wrap my finger. In, wrap my finger. And that usually works for me. And I do tend to hang on to my chain by the knot while I'm doing this. It just gives me better control. So what the chain is just a series of knots. And really, that's what crocheting is. It's a series of slip knotting or slip stitching in different formations like this. That's it. That is it. Look. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap our yarn and we're going to pull through. You see what that gives us? Now I'm going to do this again for you from the start really slow. And if you look, we can just slip those right out. You see that? And that's really the whole of it. So we've made our slip knot. Let's stick our hook in there. Let's get our yarn comfortable on our hand so we have that tension. Let's start our foundation chain. Now all we're going to do for our foundation chains is take our hook, wrap it around the bottom, grab that yarn, and pull that hook through. Okay? We're going to wrap that yarn around and pull it through. Wrap it around, grab that yarn, and pull it through. Okay? Wrap that yarn, grab it, pull it through. And feel free to move your fingers up if you want to get a good hold on that chain. This is what I do, and this just helps ensure that I'm kind of keeping the same tension on these chains. Tension is going to be the hardest thing that you're going to learn in crochet and even knitting. Tension control is something you just get with practice. And if you've never crocheted before, it's going to be a learning curve, but I promise you that with practice, you will make perfect, okay? It took me a long time to figure out tension, seriously, a long time. So don't beat yourself up, okay? I've been crocheting for a long time and I screw up all the time, okay? I always screw up still. And so never think that you're not good enough, that you're new, you'll never be as good as people on videos or whatever. Trust me, we all screw up. Even the most professional crocheters out there will screw up once in a while. So never beat yourself up. Just keep at it, keep the faith, and you will get this, okay? So let's do this more. Let's wrap our yarn around, grab it, and pull it through, okay? And never be afraid to move your hands. Move your yarn, redo it, reset yourself. You know, just keep doing what you have to do to keep that tension. So wrap your yarn, pull it through, wrap your yarn, pull it through, wrap your yarn, pull it through, and with your, just pull out some more yarn if you need it. That's all. Never be afraid to move your hands around or resituate yourself or make yourself more comfortable. Okay, do what you have to do to make this comfortable for you. Okay, don't be afraid of it. I know when I first started crocheting, I was terrified of screwing up to the point to where I couldn't even enjoy it at first. And then I learned, you know what? If I screw up, who cares? Start over again. And remember, if you screw up, guess what you can do? This is called frogging. So we just pull, 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 pull. Just gently pull until you get back to the place where you screwed up. And pull that out, put your hook back in, resituate your yarn on your hand, get your yarn all nice and snug, and then wrap that yarn and pull through. Okay, see that? Wrap that yarn, pull through. Wrap it, pull it through. That's it. Wrap it, pull it through that hook, that loop. Wrap it around your hook, grab that yarn, and that hook head is going to grab that yarn. This is why having the right size hook is very important too. It's because you want to make sure that your hook is the right size to comfortably and securely grab that yarn to pull through that loop. You see that? You want to have a hook size that's going to be able to fully grab that yarn and pull it through. And this is why hook size is important when you're crocheting with yarns or any material you're crocheting with. So we're going to wrap it around again and pull it through. Wrap it around, pull it through. There you go. And that is your starter chain. Now every project you do is going to require you to do, I'm going to pull this out a little bit, is going to require you to do one of these. Now the sizes of these loops are going to be a little, stitches are going to be a little off because I've been stopping and going for you. But that's your starter chain. That's all it is. That is the foundation chain for every project you have to make. Okay? And remember, if you screw up, just frog it. Just frog it all the way back to the beginning if you want to. That's all it takes. So let's do this without stopping just once so you can see it. I'm going to do it slow, okay? So we've made our slip stitch that is on our hook, or let me actually do that for you again too. So take your yarn, we're going to do a slip stitch. We're going to grab those two pieces of yarn, just like so. See that? Get that out of the way. So you can see that, okay? We're going to twist it, grab it, pull it through. Put your hook in there, snug that in, get your yarn like that, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to Grab that yarn, pull it through. 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 Grab it, pull it through. And don't be afraid to adjust your hands. Grab it, pull it through. Grab it, pull it through. Grab it, pull it through. And there you go. You've gotten your starter chain. So, and when you do a project, it'll tell you you have to do a starter chain with 20 stitches, 50 stitches, 100 stitches. And this is where stitch markers come in really handy, because you can stick a stitch marker. What I do, if I have to do a blanket or something with a lot of a long foundation chain, I'll put a stitch marker maybe every 20 stitches or so, just to make the counting a lot easier. Because trust me, with some stitches you're going to come into, stitch count is very important. So this is your foundation chain. So that's how you start. And this is going to start you off on any project you're going to do. Okay? In the next video, we're going to look at how to make your first single crochet stitch. So we'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, Diana back with part 2 for this how to crochet video. So the last part of this video, we looked at how to do the foundation chain or the starting chain and the slip knot that starts it all. Okay, so if you want to just review that, please go ahead to the first part of this video. So this part of the video, we're going to work on our single crochet. Now, before I get into that, what I want to let you know is, do you see this loop around the hook? This loop is never, ever, ever going to count as a stitch. The one that is around your hook is never going to count as a stitch. I'm going to try to see if I can get this to where I can focus better. So I just want to let you know that. So when we start the single crochet, we're looking at our stitches that we've done. Now, if you look at these stitches, you're going to see 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 3 stitch. You're going to see these kind of V's, these V shapes. Now these V shapes are your stitches, okay? Now on the foundation chain, I will say this, it gets wonky, okay? It's going to be harder to work your first, maybe this row that we're going to do right now is going to be a little harder, because your yarn's going to want to flop around a little bit. So don't be afraid to, move it, hold on to it, and do what you have to do to make this work, okay? So with the single crochet, we're going to start our crochet at the second stitch from the hook. Now, this loop around the hook does not count. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at these V's, okay? So this is our first stitch and our second stitch. So we're going to start in this stitch right here. Now what we're going to do for this single crochet is wrap your yarn. You're going to take your, and I'm going to keep my tension loose here so you can actually see what I'm doing. So your second loop, your second stitch from the yarn, let's go back here again, okay, so we can see what we're working with. Okay, just give that little pull so you can see those V's, okay? First stitch, second stitch, 1, 2. That's where we're working right there, okay? So you can even keep your finger there if you need to, and then keep your thumb there if you need to, so you know where you're going to go. So you're going to put your hook into that first stitch, okay? Just like so. You're going to come up and you're going to grab that yarn. You're going to grab that yarn and you're going to pull it right back through where you came in, okay? And then pull it up. That is pulling up a loop, okay? That's what's called, when you hear somebody pull up a loop, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about going into a stitch, grabbing that yarn and pulling it right back through. That is pulling up a loop. Now, with single crochet, you always want 2 loops on the hook, and that's it, okay? 2 loops. So what we're going to do now that we've pulled up our loop is we're going to yarn over that hook, okay? Yarning over just simply means yarning over, wrapping that yarn over the hook, okay? You're going to take that yarn that you just wrapped over and you're going to pull it through both of those loops. That is a single crochet right there. Let's do that again with the next stitch. So let's go into the next stitch here, okay, which is your V right there. We're just going to go through and push our hook through. Okay, we're going to grab that yarn and drag that yarn right back through where we went into. So we have 2 loops on our hook now. This is what we want to see, okay? You're going to wrap that yarn around and you're going to pull that yarn through the both loops, sorry. Okay, and that is it. That is the whole of the single crochet. So let's do this for a few rows, okay? Now, when you have your crochet into that loop, you're gonna see that loop is kind of stretched up. That's usually the loop that you've already worked into. So you look to the next one. Your next stitch is right there in front of that. You're gonna push through, and like I said, don't be afraid to push your hook through. Use your fingers. Push through that next stitch, grab that yarn and pull that yarn through. Okay, you can have 2 loops, just like that. Yarn over and pull that yarn through both of those loops. Okay, and if you can see this, we've worked here already. So let's go to the next stitch. The next stitch is right there. You're going to push your hook through it. You're going to grab that yarn and pull that right back through where you went in. So you have 2 loops. Wrap around and pull that yarn through both loops. Okay, that next stitch is going to be right there. So you're going to push your hook through that next stitch, grab that yarn, pull that yarn right back through, and you've got 2 loops on that hook again. And this is what we want to see. We want 2 loops on that hook for single crochet. You're going to yarn over, wrap that yarn around, grab that yarn and pull that right through both of those loops. Okay, same thing, we're going to go into the next stitch and do it over and over and over again. So we're going to push through, grab that yarn, pull right back through where we went in. Right back through the same hole you went in. There you go. You got 2 loops, you're going to wrap that over, you're going to yarn over, pull that through both loops, go to your next stitch. This is the repetition for a single crochet. Push through, grab that yarn and pull it right back through where you started. There you go. You got 2 loops, you're going to yarn over, you're going to pull that yarn right through both of those loops. Okay? That next stitch is right there. Let's go get her. You're going to put your hook right through that stitch. You're going to grab that yarn and pull it right through where you went in, just like that. You got 2 loops on that hook. You're going to yarn over, and then you're going to pull that yarn right through both of those loops. And look, you're crocheting. That's it, folks. You're crocheting. It's amazing, isn't it? Look at this. So we're going to keep doing this. Let's keep going. You got that next hook, that next stitch. Let's put that hook through it, grab that yarn and pull it right back through where we went in. We've got 2 loops on that hook. We're just going to wrap that yarn around and we're going to pull it through both of those loops. Okay? Now, you're coming to the end. I want to show you something, okay? Now, if you hang on to that, if you pull this a little bit, you're going to see that this right here, that is your slip knot. I'm sorry, that's your slip knot right there. Okay, that's not a stitch. Okay, that is where you made your slip knot. If you can, as you can see, if you pull on it, it's going to tighten. Okay, that is your slip knot. Don't go into here. Your stitch, your last stitch, is going to be very clear to see. Okay, if you have to look hard to try to see a stitch, it's probably not a stitch. Your stitch is right here. Okay, that's your last stitch. Now, I know it seems like you're going to have this big thing hanging out. Trust me, once you get your project going, it's not going to look like that. Okay, so let's go to that last stitch, not the slip knot. That last open stitch. Let's push through, and don't be afraid to manhandle that yarn. You hang on to that yarn however you have to. Okay, push through, grab that yarn, and pull it right back through, just like before. We've got 2 loops on that hook. Okay, we're going to yarn over. And we're going to take that yarn and pull it right through those 2 hooks. You just finished your first row. That's it. You just finished your first row. Now you see what I said about that slip stitch, that slip knot there? That slip knot's not going to stick out like it seems like it would. And you're going to wind that, you're going to weave that tail through at the end anyways. So we just finished our first row of single crochet. So what are we going to do now? Well, let's look at it real quick. Now, if you can see, I'm hoping you can see. I know the lighting here is not the best. My big light broke, like just this morning, so. But you can see these V's, these series of V's right here. These are your stitches. Now, when you go and do your second row, make sure your hook is going under that whole stitch. The whole stitch is a V. Go under that entire V, okay? That's your stitch. So we finished our first row, so what are we going to do now? Now, before you start the next row, you're always going to want to chain 1 for single crochet. Chain 1. Let me show you that again, okay? You're going to chain 1. When you chain 1, all you're doing is you're going to wrap your hook around your yarn and just pull that through. kind of like you did in your starter chain when you're doing your foundation chain. It's the same kind of chain. You're just making one chain. That's all you're doing. Now turn your work. Now some people turn their work this way. Some people turn their work this way. Whatever's comfortable to you, honestly. I do it that way. So you've chained one and just turn your work. So you want the end of your work, you want the end of your work to become the beginning of your work. That's really what you're trying to do here. Now, remember when I said you want to go under those V's? Now let me take this out so I can show you. When you start this next row, it's going to be a little wonky, okay? It's not going to be straight in front of you. So when you hook into that first stitch, look at these stitches, okay? Can you see those? Can you see those V's? Maybe I shouldn't have used a red yarn. Can you see those V's? These V's are your stitch, okay? Make sure you're going under the complete V's in these stitches, okay? Let me just see if I can't. Yeah, these V shapes, that is one stitch. Your hook goes under the entire V, okay? So just make sure that you're doing that. And I'll show you here too, so don't worry about it. We'll get through it. We'll get you through it. So what you're going to do, and this is going to be a little wonky, okay? So don't think you're doing something wrong if your V is not sitting straight on top of you. The best way to do it is open this up, okay? Open that first stitch up. If you look up, you're going to see the V on top. It looks like two strands of yarn. That's what you want to see. You want to go under those two strands of yarn, okay? You want to go into this hole right here, this hole. This hole is where you want to go. So let me just tighten that yarn back up so I have more tension there. Never be afraid to rewrap your yarn around your hand or do what you have to do, okay? So we're going to take our hook and we're going to push it through that first stitch. Now, if you notice, it's under that complete V. I know it's hard to see, I'm sorry, but you're going to be under that V, okay? Grab your yarn and pull that yarn straight through where you just put your hook in, okay? Again, you're going to have two loops on that hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through both those loops, just like we did before, okay? Now, the row after this, you'll be able to see the stitches a lot better. Okay, not down here, that big thing I'm opening up here, right here. Your next stitch is going to be right in line right there. So, right there, your next stitch, go under that full V, grab that yarn, pull it through, yarn over and pull through. Now, there we go again. Let's see here. Okay, see that? It's under that V right there. Can you see that V? Kind of. I don't have my readers on, so I can't really, things are a little blurry for me. Hopefully not blurry for you though. You see that? That hole? That's a stitch you want to go through right there. See that V right there? That V? V for victory. There you go. Right through that hole is where you want to go. So go through that, grab that yarn and pull that yarn right through where you just went in. Just like before. You got two loops on that hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through those two loops. Okay? Just keep doing that. You're just going to go through that next stitch under that V. So you're under that V. You're going to grab that yarn, pull it right back through where you went in. Get yourself, sorry, I'm trying to keep this focused, but I'm having a hard time seeing with my eyes. Pull that yarn through both loops. Okay? You're going to go through right through that next stitch, just like we've been doing. Pull that yarn right through that stitch you just went into. You're going to have two loops on that hook. Yarn over and pull that yarn through those two loops. Pull some more yarn out of here. Out of my little tiny skein here. Okay? Next stitch. Let's do it again. Let's do this all over again. Let's go through this next stitch. We're going to go through that. We're going to grab that yarn and pull it right back through. Get those two loops on that hook, and we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull that through those two loops. Okay? Here's another stitch. Let's go do it again. Let's go under that V. Let's grab that yarn and pull it right back through. Get our two loops on that hook, just like so. Yarn over and pull that yarn right through the two loops. Okay? Look at this. You can start seeing some of these stitches now. So there's our next stitch. There's our V right there. You're going to go under this V, go right through that stitch, grab that yarn and pull it right back through. Like, hey, where are you going, buddy? Get back here. Wrap that yarn around, pull it through. There we go. So we're going to go through. Now we have 2 stitches left, and remember, the stitches are marked by the V's. Okay, can you see those V's? This here is that turning chain from that previous row. So that little bump right there is not a stitch. Our stitches are visible because they are V's. So we have the V right there, and we've got a V right here. So we have 2 stitches left in this row. Okay, 1 stitch, 2 stitch. So we're going to go through that second to the last stitch. We're going to push under that V. We're going to grab that yarn. Hey, buddy, get back over here. Get back over here and come right back through here. I'm going to get those loops up. I'm going to wrap that yarn around, and we're going to grab it right through those 2 loops. Okay? Last stitch. Here we go. So we're going to see that. And I know it's hard to see in the video here, but when you're crocheting, you'll be able to look and see it. Okay? That last V right there. That last V shape. I have big fingers. I'm sorry. That last V shape right there. Okay? Looks like a lot of kinds of shapes. It can be a lot of things, not just a V. We're going to push through that last stitch, okay? We're going to just push through it. Go ahead, manhandle that yarn. Go ahead, go do it. We're going to push our hook through that last stitch. We're going to grab that yarn and say, get over here, buddy. Come right back through here with me. We're going to pull up 2 loops on that hook, just like so. And for the last time in this row, we're going to go ahead and yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. You just completed another row. Let's do 1 more row together. What do you think? Yeah? So remember, we're going to chain 1. Whenever you start a new row with a single crochet, do you hear that? I swear to God, there's a weasel up there chasing. We have little brown rats up there. We live in the mountains. It's an epidemic here in this area of Japan, and we are trying many things to get them to move out before we actually have to do the bad thing, which I really don't want to do. But anyways, whenever you're starting a new row of single crochet, you always want to chain 1, okay? Now chaining 1 simply, it is your chain 1 is not a stitch. It simply gets you to the height. Because if you look at these here, when you go from row to row to row, you're building height. You're getting taller. And chaining gets you to that height for that next row. So when we chain 1, what we're doing is we're building height. I see how that just got higher, and that's going to help us get to the height of that next row. Okay, so this little chain. Now this chain does not count as a stitch. Okay, let's do that again. So, you know, a lot of people say chain 1, but they don't explain to you why we're chaining 1. So let's chain 1 to begin our next row. Now we're going to turn our work so that the end of the work becomes the beginning of the work. Okay, and that's really what that is. That's all that is. Now, if you look, let me take this out of here because I want to show you guys this. The more you go along with this, you're going to be able to see these stitches better. And you see these stitches, all these V's, and those V's are your stitches. So you always want to look for those stitches. And it makes it easier to count it too when you're doing a project. So look for those V's. Those V's are going to be your stitches. Let's see if I can get up here and get this to focus in. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay. So those V's are your stitches. Those are your stitches, okay? Let me just get back out here so we can actually work now. I'm gonna put my hook right back in here so I can. Okay, so let's start the next row. So we've chained 1, we've turned our work, we are at the beginning now. I showed you these V's, so it should start getting easier for you to see where you're going to put your hook. So we're here, we're going to put our hook under that first V stitch, which is right, can you see that? Which is right there. That is our first V stitch right here. Right there. I'm hoping you can see that right there. Our second V stitch, our third V stitch, so on. So these stitches right here, that's where we're putting our hook. Okay? So, and if you open it too, you can usually kind of open that up and see that hole. That's where we're going to put that hook. So we're going to go put our hook into that first stitch. And if you can see this, that V right there. See how that hook is under that V right there? That's the V you want to be under. You're going to go through that first stitch, grab that yarn and pull that little guy right through. Because 2 is company. Remember, 2 is company. So, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops, okay? Just keep doing that. There's our, look, there's our next stitch. There's our next V right there and our next stitch. So we're going to go ahead and push through that V, grab that little guy and rip him back through. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay? We're going to go through that next stitch, under that V, grab that yarn, bring that yarn right through to pull up 2 loops. Always 2 loops on that hook. Yarn over and pull through both of those loops. Okay? Let me just get some more yarn here. Next stitch, there we go. And you should start being able to open these up and actually see your stitches where you have to go. And don't be afraid to open it up. Don't be afraid to look. I mean, look, I'm not breaking this yarn, okay? I'm not breaking anything. You just do what you have to do to see those stitches. Go ahead, open them up. You know, look at them. This next stitch right here, look at this. See, we can see it. Put your hook through it, under that V, grab that yarn, and pull him right back through. So we're going to have 2 loops, 2 loops on the hook, sorry. We're going to wrap that yarn around and we're going to pull through both those loops. We're going to keep doing that. We're going to go through the next stitch, under that V, grab that yarn and pull it through. Get those 2 loops up there, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go into the next stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through. We're going to wrap over or yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Okay, let's see here. You see that stitch right there? Yep. I'm trying to like look through the camera while I'm doing this, so it's a little weird for me. Right there, where my thumbnail's pushing up, that's your next stitch. You start pulling these up a little bit, you can start seeing these stitches really easily. So you're going to go through your next stitch again, and this is repetition. This is all your single crochet is. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Go through your next stitch, under the V, grab that yarn and bring them right back through with you. Okay? Gonna yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Now again, we have 2 stitches left. We have 1 V here and 1 V here, okay? This thing that looks like it's knotted over, if it's not clearly a V, it looks kind of knotty, that is not a stitch. That is your turning chain from previous row. So your stitches should be very clear V's to you, okay? That's how you know you're on your last stitches. So you go through that second to the last stitch, grab that yarn and pull it right through with you. Okay? 2 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. We have 1 more stitch left. See how fun this is? This is great, and this is nice. This is nice meditation. You know, just practice this single crochet because this is great for dishcloths, dish towels, really anything. There's that last stitch. You see that last V right there? That last V right there. That's your last stitch. So we're going to go through it. We're going to go through that last stitch. Remember, go under that V. Grab that yarn. He's going to try to go away. Don't let him run away. Grab that yarn. Grab him. Pull him right back through. Say, nope, you're staying with me, buddy. You're staying with me. The 2 of us together on this hook. That's it. You're going to yarn over, and then you're going to pull through those 2 hooks. You just completed another row. Look at that. That's great, isn't it? Isn't this fun? Absolutely. So let's do 1 more row because I'm having fun. I don't want to leave you guys just yet. So again, we're going to chain 1 so we can get a little bit of height for the next row. We're going to chain 1 by just yarning over and simply pulling through. That's it. That is your chain 1. Turn your work so that the end of your work becomes the beginning of your work. Okay? We're going to look for that first stitch. Now, as you start going, you're going to start seeing these V's clearer and clearer and clearer. Look at these. You can see your stitches now. Those are so easy to go through. Look at that. Look what you've done. It's amazing. You are doing so amazingly well. And don't give up on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Keep going. If you make a mistake, pull it out. Start over again. You know, it's okay. It's okay. I still make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. Everybody does. We all do. And it's okay. Just take your time and keep going. Keep going at it. So we're going to go that first stitch right there. There's our V on top. Go through that first V. So we're going to go ahead and push our hook right through, because this chain one does not count. When we chained one over here to get that height, that chain one does not count as a stitch. That is not a stitch, okay? That is just chaining one to get that height. It is not a stitch. So when we do that chain one and we turn our work, our first stitch is right there. So you see that little loop on the hook there? The next stitch is yours. That's yours. That's where you're going to go through. That's your little rabbit hole right there, okay? So you're going to go through that first stitch, that little rabbit hole. You're going to grab that rabbit and pull them right back through. Now you've got 2 loops, just like before. You're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops, okay? Look at this. Look how much clearer these become as you go. Isn't this great? You're going to push through this stitch. You're going to grab that yarn and pull it through. Now you've got 2 loops again. Yarn over and pull through. Go into that next stitch. Go through, grab that yarn and pull it right back out. Okay? You just pulled up 2 loops again. Yarn over, pull through. Go through that next stitch. Pull it right through. Yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. That is it. That is a single crochet. It's just a series of pushing through that next stitch, grabbing that yarn and pulling it right back through. You'll always have 2 loops on that hook with a proper single crochet. Gonna wrap that yarn around that hook and pull it right through. Okay? Look at this. Next stitch. Let's do it again. Let's keep doing it. Under that V, through that stitch, right back through. Gonna yarn over. And we're gonna pull through those 2 hoops. That's it. Okay? Look at that. There's that next stitch. Isn't that beautiful? Look how clear that is. Oh, if I get my hook out of the way. Look at that. See that stitch right there? That V right there? That's your stitch. Right there. Look at that. Go right through that V. Under that V, just right through that stitch. Grab that yarn, pull him right back through with you. You're going to pull up those 2 loops. You're going to wrap that yarn around that hook and you're going to pull it right through those 2 loops. Okay? Next stitch is right there. Right here. You're going to put your hook under that stitch right there, that next stitch. Grab that yarn. You're going to pull that yarn right back through where you went in. 2 loops on the hook. Wrap around that hook and pull it right through. Both loops. Now look, we've got those last 2 stitches again, okay? And let me put this out real quick. And you're going to get to recognize. See, you can see where your turning chain is, because that's that base of that last stitch, that last V right there, okay? So, let me just do that. So you've got 1 stitch and 1 stitch. So let's go ahead and finish this row, okay? So we're going to go ahead and go through that second to the last stitch in that V. We're going to grab our yarn and pull it right back through where we went into, okay? Going to wrap over, pull through both of those loops. Now the last stitch, look at this. Look at this. You've done another row. You've done another row. Isn't that awesome? Go through that last stitch and don't be afraid to push your hook through. Don't be afraid to work through that yarn. Go ahead, do it. Grab that yarn and pull it right back through. See that? You've got 2 hooks there. You're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through. And there you go, folks. You just did your single crochet. And there it is. That is a single crochet. See your stitches on the top there. So I hope you've had as much fun as I have. The next video set is going to look at the half double crochet, and then I'll do one for a double and then a treble crochet or triple crochet. So just keep practicing. Feel free to rewind the videos if you need to. And just keep practicing. Practice makes perfect. And don't be afraid of screwing up. Screwing up is part of learning. So never get mad at yourself for that. You know, I still screw up. And I've been crocheting for a long time now. So there you go, folks. Your single crochet. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And I will be loading more tutorials for you very, very soon. Okay? So until the next video, as always, be kind. Be generous. Be happy, be cool, and keep hooking. Bye, guys.